This is a Beneteau Oceanis 46.1. It's a very fetching looking sailing boat, particularly, I think, with this dark grey hull. That looks really smart. Now, one thing they've got on here, which I think is a nice idea, is this drop-down bathing platform. Now, this is actually powered, and in fact, you can operate it with remote control. And what that means is that if you leave the boat, you can head off, hit the button, power that back up, and then when you return in your tender, hit the button again and it'll drop down and you can step straight off. So that's a very nice idea. Another thing I think which is quite neat is over here it's got telescopic davits. So if you wanted to hang a tender on the back, these lift up and they come right up, swivel out, and then that gives you the davits to hang your tender on. Anyway, let's head on board. We are of course going to do the full tour. I'm going to start right here at the back. Underneath here, this, or at least these catches, is the Lazarette, so really good size. Let's get right down and you can see that. And that's also, if you had a generator, that's where that would live. And the other thing that we have in here, which is quite clever, is if we go over to this side, this one is a couple of things actually. First of all, you can prop it, that's what that swinging bar is for, like that, so that when the boat is heeling you can stand on a more level surface. But also your diesel filler is under there, which means that if you drip any diesel it doesn't run onto your teak. And that circular white object, if you take that off, that is access for an emergency tiller, so it allows you to steer the boat in the event of steering gear failure. So that's a very good idea indeed. And that handle, in case you're wondering, that plugs into that fella there. It's a manual backup bilge pump. You've got twin wheels on this one. People sometimes ask why there's twin wheels. The reason for that is because when you're sailing and the boat is heeled over with the sails over that way, you want to be on this side with a clear view down the side of the boat. Of course, if it's heeling the other way with the sails down this way because the wind is blowing across, then you want to be on this side. So that's why it has the twin wheels. Over on this side, you've also got the engine control. So the throttle is down there and shifting in and out of gear, rev counter, engine start, that kind of thing. But both of these then have navigation screens, and that's the autopilot control just there. This is also a bow thruster. In fact, they're doing these now with a larger pod here, so you can have 9-inch screens in there if you want to. What else have we got here? This I really like, it's very clever. All your lines lead aft and come out here, but there's actually a rope locker then tucked away underneath there. And what's neat about that is they've put mesh around it, and the idea is, of course, if your ropes are wet and they go in there, they won't get all mouldy, they'll dry out. Lot of attention to detail. And then finally in the centre here we've got this, which is somewhere for your life raft to live. And then this table has lift up sides, so you can make that much larger for dining around. That is just a shallow area there, so that you can take that actually and put your food on it if you want to and bring it up, pop it into there. And that one is a cool box, and I think you can have that refrigerated if you want to. And finally that is to drop a lamp into, so you can have a light up here in the centre of the cockpit. Let's go and take a walk around the outside first of all, and then of course we'll do the interior and the whole shebang. So up onto this side you can see there's sideboarding here, so if you're alongside a dock you can step straight on and off of the side of the boat. This is quite interesting. It's got this arch on, and what that means is all of your sheeting lines come back to the top of there centrally, so you don't have a track across the cockpit. That keeps it all nice and safe and up out of the way. That works really well. This one, as you can see, has got in-mast furling, so the mainsail rolls right back inside the mast, and then of course you roll it out when you want to use it. You can have slab furling if you prefer, where it drops down onto the boom. Let's head on a bit further. I like the way they've done these shrouds so that it's really easy to walk through them without having to sort of swing yourself around them. And you'll see around here as well there's a lot of lighting into the cabin, and we'll see that a bit more when we go inside. This fella up here, that's for a baby stay, so if you wanted to put a storm jib or something like that, you could have it onto there. And there's also a massive locker underneath here. If we lift this one up, there we go, look at the size of that. So if you wanted to put your spinnaker in there or other sails, you can do. And that fella on the wandering lead, that is the anchor winch control, so that powers this winch up or down to bring your anchor in and out. And this again, of course, roller furling up here on the foresail. Okay, let's go back down this side. Nice wide side decks on this one, and a really good size spray hood as well. That's great. And you can see also we have the bimini on here, so that's shielding these areas if it's a really hot sunny day. And in fact you can roll this one forward and connect this right the way across, so you've got plenty of shelter out here if you need it. Let's come all the way back, step down through here. You've got these areas for relaxing on, and those drop flat, so if you want better visibility you can have it. You'll notice these black sections here, those are actually windows. We'll see those better on the inside. And then we'll head down here. Now this one's got the darker wood. I think it's a mahogany in this one. You can have a light oak if you prefer, but that looks rather tasteful, I think, and it does look really big in here, and it feels it as well. It's a very, very spacious feeling boat. We'll head up this side first of all. You've got this great seating area here, somewhere to tuck yourself away with a good book, and in fact you can lift this up like that to give you a bit of a chaise, so you can sit here with your back against here and that's supporting your legs. Very nice area. And this is a navigation station up here, so you've got a little chart area, space under there for your dividers and pencils and things. There's a VHF radio, a repeater for the nav screen is here as well. And then head on forward again, and this then is the master cabin. Again, a really good size. What's nice about this boat is they've not tried to cram too much into it, so everything feels nice and spacious. And there's also a fair bit of storage around the place, so obviously you've got things like these lockers, but it's also tucked away into places like this. Down underneath here you've got storage down underneath the bed, so there's a big drawer down underneath here, and so on. Lots of concealed lighting you can see about the place as well. That works well. This is quite nice. You've got these big windows, so you've got a great view out, but they have these blackout screens that just pull across really easy like that. So if you don't want the light streaming in, you don't have to have it. And then these are these big skylights that we saw from outside, and again these have got blinds that pull across like this. More storage down this side, down in here, another locker just there, and then this one has its own ensuite over here. This in fact is a shower room because the heads is separate. So we've got this area here, again storage in behind places like this, and your sink is in there as well, and that's the shower. But if we look on the other side, that then is the actual heads compartment. So you've got your loo there and another sink and so forth. And then underneath the floor, this is just access to service areas. So under this one, for example, there's a seacock underneath there. I think that's the fluxgate compass and a transducer and that kind of thing. Okay, let's head on back from here. This I think looks great as you come back into it. There is an option though, you can have this with a table that drops down to make that into another sleeping area if you want it. This one doesn't have it, but that can be done. More storage again in places like this. So down underneath there, and also around the back just here. And if we come back down this side, we will find day heads over here. So that is a toilet and a shower, but that also has ensuite access. So you'll see there's a door just there, and that comes through to this cabin. So you can see that gives this cabin an ensuite at night. Decent sized cabin. I like these windows they put in here. There's these black sections that we saw when we looked from outside, so they're tinted. But again, there are blinds that come down over those as well. And also down underneath here then are things like the battery switches. So some of the service items in here as well. And you'll notice there's panels on the side. Those panels down there give you access to the sides and the back of the engine. We'll look at the engine of course as well while we're in here. But if we come back out of here, these steps, this is where we came down into the boat, and then on this side is the galley area. Now what you've got over here, you can see of course it's got the 2-burner gas hob and the oven and grill, and then decent sized fridge in there, but also there is a top loading freezer, so you can get all your frozen stuff in there and out of the way. This again here we go. This again is also storage up in behind places like this. And then back behind this one, we've got the 2 sinks here and a nice return over on this side, which also gives you a bit more storage, of course. And then there's another cabin over here. Again, it's got the engine access over on that side. And again, that window, and we can see Maggie there. taking it easy and make sure she's behaving herself. And of course these have got storage tucked away, so it's a hanging locker there, and then shelves all the way across there. And again, decent hull windows as well in places like this, and then storage tucked away underneath. They've really packed it in to pretty much every area. That's a really good size actually. And this window opens then for a bit of ventilation. So come around here and back out. That is nice, isn't it? I like this colour scheme actually with the darker wood. I think it looks really classy. Decent rail along here as well, so if we're getting a bit rough, you have got something to hang on to as you move around the inside of the boat. And big hatches, again, those both open, so you get plenty of light and air into here. And then the final thing to look at is down underneath here, because this is the engine. Now, of course, it's just really an auxiliary engine to get you out the harbour, or if you're becalmed, most of the time you would sail, but nonetheless it's a pretty decent size Yamaha diesel engine. I think it's a 45 horsepower, I'm not certain, but I think that's what it is. And I mentioned about the side access, well that gets you in to the sides and the back from either of those cabins. So of course if you need to do work on the engine, you need to get to the back of it. It's pretty tricky from here, but getting those side panels out makes that much easier. And there we go. That is about it. Let's head back up into the cockpit. And I will just say huge thanks to Ancaster for organising that tour. Hope you enjoyed that one. Let me know what you think of it in the comments, and we'll catch you on another one of these very soon. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.